And I'm going to try this here. Let's go to that. You don't want to see that. Uh-oh. Wow. My computer just freaked out for those of you who are witnessing this. Let's see here. Back bigger. There it is. Okay. Give me a second, folks, as I struggle. Okay. Can everybody, I think we're good. See my screen in Zoom land? Maybe someone can show me a signal with thumb there. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So feel free. This is a sunset chat. And so what it means is I do have a presentation for you, but you can also, I'm going to hide my video, folks, here. You can also unmute yourself and ask questions. You can raise your hand. So just know you can jump in. You'll hear there's people in the room here, so they may ask questions. I'll make sure that everybody can participate. You'll see there's the chat feature. You can use that as well. Whatever makes sense for you. Okay. And also following this, for those who are in Zoom land, we are having a presentation here from the PTSA. And I did want to see if you guys are, if there's anybody willing to stay on Zoom, I might ask the presenter if he wants me, I can sort of sit here and see if they could be in the room with me. I don't know yet. We hadn't even talked about that, but maybe we'll see.
That would be nice. That would be great. That way I don't have to drive over there.
Okay, we'll see what he says. We haven't asked him, but if you can head on over. I saw the presentation this morning with our students. I know he's doing a similar one, and it was excellent. It was excellent. So, okay, so we're going to get started. There is a QR code here that just lets us know that you're here. We are doing what we can to see track our parent engagement and participation in events like this. Okay, next slide. So these are some repeats. So those of you who've seen it, who've been with me before, you'll know you've seen these before, but I just want to make sure for those who haven't, this is my administrative team that helps me through all things here at Santa Barbara High. That's my new picture of myself. I took it at Heroes of the Heart Hospice Heroes. I didn't know I was getting my photo that day, but it was fun. Anyways, okay. This is our amazing counseling team. There has been a few slight caseload shifts. This one doesn't represent the new ones. I realize I used the old one, but we've communicated. Every year we have to do what we call the caseload shuffle. And we're trying to balance out numbers. And sometimes, there is a family often that's like, every year I get a brand new counselor and it's really hard. And so there is, sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes it's not. And so if it's not a good thing for your student or for the family, just reach out to me and we can talk about that. And that's a conversation that I have between the counselors and with you. The goal is we want to have positive, healthy relationships. And so again, if their caseload shuffle impacts in any negative way, just reach out and speak up about that. What's amazing for those of you who've, if you're a parent of a senior, when they were freshmen, we only had 5 counselors on our staff. So in the last 4 years with the state grant, we were able to add more counselors. And so freshman year, counselors had caseloads of 400 to 450 each. They're all now down to about 300. So it is possible to really get to know their students and the families and things like that. So it's wonderful. Just a reminder, we do have a college and career center that has a full-time college and career counselor. You'll see a lot of things coming out from him, like for example, tomorrow night, Cash for College. It's for senior families. It's looking at FAFSA financial aid. There is a college and career tab on our website where he keeps things updated. It's also a place to go for job opportunities and community service. So just remember, we have this spot on campus. Also in there is, her name is Elizabeth Salazar, and she is a part-time support. She's also she's going to get her, she's in college getting her counseling degree. She's wonderful, and she's there 6 hours a day. So she's there to help as well. All right, I gotta get to my participants here. Okay. We also have Maria Jimenez, our family community liaison, and I'm gonna make this smaller so those who are here can see that. Let's hide this. I realize people here can't see everything. That's not helpful. Okay. And so she does a lot of different things. We're actually in the middle of a parent program that happened last night. It's a 6-week course. It's if you're interested in that, you can talk to me about it. She's here to support with attendance, events for families, resources, referrals. She's been with us now for, I think, 7 years. And prior to that, she was working in, I think, as a social worker. So she has lots of connections and information. Campus safety team. We've added a team member, Jalen Roberson. He's over there on the far right. He's also a football coach for us. He was a paraeducator. He's also a Santa Barbara High School alumni. I actually knew him in junior high. I was his teacher, I think. So when we talk about the Don's family, we're not kidding, right? So we have a wonderful campus safety team. We're fully staffed now at 5, which is awesome. And it's just great to have them as part of the safety team here. Please feel free to stop me with questions, comments, anything, whatever you want. Okay. You've seen these before, school-wide learner outcomes. We're gonna dig in these deeper as we start to get on going through the year. And I have some Bada students creating posters already. They've shared with me some of their mock-ups, but we're gonna get those going, and they're working on the student language. So making sure they're accessible for students. So I'm excited to share those posters when they're done. You've seen this slide. We know that Santa Barbara High is a safe place for all students. I can say it, but we have to make sure it's true. And the only way we can do that is if we work together. So I tell students all the time. And so one of the biggest things is you see something, say something. So this is our Safe to Speak Up. It's on the iPad. It can be anonymous and it cannot be. It's up to really what the student decides. Just make sure there is a little box where you can check. Keep it anonymous. If you don't check that box, we will know. We will always keep it confidential though. So there's a difference between, like, anonymous means like I legitimately do not know who it is. Now there is a way, like if I really had to figure out who it was, like say it was like a major threat, we can, but I'm not going to break that firewall until I absolutely have to, because then that breaks the trust, that breaks the anonymity of this whole thing. So I'm not going to do that until I absolutely have to. But confidential though means we know who it is, but I've been doing this for 23 years. I know retaliatory behavior. I know what could happen. I know it could make it worse. Unfortunately, it's sad that that's where we have to come from. But just know that we always keep things confidential. There are times, depending on the severity of the situation, where nothing's confidential. I mean, honestly, like depending on if it gets to a point where we are, God forbid, at trial or something, nothing's confidential at that point. But we do everything we can to protect our students' safety. And so this, by the way, this app, I've noticed a couple students started using it to report their friends' concerns about their friends' behavior. And I'm going to talk to you about mental health resources in a second. That's going to be my theme. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, as well as Disability Awareness and History Month. But I'm going to talk about mental health resources and different resources on our campus. But a couple of times recently, we've gotten reports from students sharing about a concern they had about a friend. And so that's been really wonderful for us because we've been able then to intervene and support. And so just remember that this is a place that can be used to report anything that they see on campus, off campus. They can link in screenshots. You can get on there and do it yourself if you're having a hard time with something. You can always reach out to any one of the administrators about anything that you're worried about. And you can say, keep this confidential too, of course, right? So just know we're here for you.
Question.
Yeah.
As the kids have had access to this,
Yeah.
now several years, I think.
We started, actually, no, it was awkward start in the spring of last year.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, before, we had something else before it.
In junior high.
It was, I don't know if it was called Safe to Speak Up. It was
Okay.
called something else,
Something else.
but it was a
Have-
similar device,
Yeah. have you
similar thing.
noticed They've been using it more.
I've noticed that they haven't been using this one as much as they
Okay.
use the other one.
Got it. Okay.
And I don't know what the reason is, but I can tell you that I get a lot of students just emailing me. Like they don't even use this. They're just like, whatever, I need this teacher, or I'm having this hard time, or I'm worried about my friend. So I'm noticing that a lot more, which is awesome. Like if I have a teenager emails with the principal, I'm like, wow, okay, what can I do for you? So, so yeah, and so they use it though, they do.
They do. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And there's only been, I was gonna tell you this, because I feel like I have to. There's only been 2 times that we can tell that there's been a swatting activity. I don't know if you guys heard about that, where it's like a fake report. And then, yeah, so SWAT is like where you say something really horrible enough so that the SWAT team shows up at that person's home. So there's only been a couple of times that we can tell where it was like a false report. You know, we responded quickly, responded promptly, and it was, you know, hard on the family. Like, no, it's not, you know, and so it's just, that's what happens. And if we know who's reporting it, of course, we're going to deal with that, but often it is anonymous. And so we're not able to deal with it on that end, but it only has happened a couple times in the 5 years I've been here. So just, I want to share with you some other ways to engage as parents. We do have our MLAC meeting that's happening on Monday, October 17th. That's this Monday. It will be in the cafeteria. We did get information that we can use our funds to buy food. I just learned this like last week, and I was like, yes, we had some rules around it. We have to have an agenda, and the eating of the food needs to take place in the middle of the agenda. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and I'm asking school site council to set aside money for food, so that's gonna help bring more people. If tonight goes well in terms of the Zoom and in person, I'm gonna keep doing that model. I might need another person to help me out a little bit more as we get more and more people, but so just if you are a parent or you know parents of students who are emerging multilinguals or who have been reclassified, please encourage them to come and be involved. It's a great committee where we talk about how to support students in their language development. I have Dina here. Those you can't see her, she's here in the room. I took off my thing. So Dina is also helping with, we have a student special education advisory committee that's similar to this, and we're working on an upcoming meeting probably next month. We'll do something, right?
And Maida's here.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Yay. Another potential CPAC
Yes.
parent
Well,
rep.
I was doing for about, I don't know, for 6 years, since elementary, I don't know.
Awesome.
We're doing another junior high, and now he's here, a freshman, so.
Perfect.
We follow the path.
We have you for 4 years now is what I'm hearing. That's excellent. Hi,
Yes.
it's okay. Good. No, don't worry. I'm worried that people are raising their hands. You know what, folks, I can't see if you raise your hand if you're a participant in Zoomland. So if you can actually, if you ever have a question or you want me to stop, can you just unmute yourself and talk? I think that's gonna be the easiest for me. Okay,
I have an interpretation question.
go ahead.
With the Zoom and live,
Yes.
how does that work with live?
So what I'm gonna need to do is we couldn't get someone for tonight to be here. And in the future, if we did, we'll use those headsets and have somebody here doing the headset interpretation. If someone needs interpretation now, they can go on their phone and they can either do headset and go on Zoom. Or in the other room, you can just listen if you want to do that. So I apologize for anybody else. And we're not gonna, it's gonna be same for Dino's situation. We're just gonna do our best. Sorry. Look, here's our PTSA. If you haven't joined the PTSA, please do so now. There's their website. It's really easy. I did it. It took like, I don't know, 3 minutes to sign up. It's really super easy. You could even use PayPal. Please join them. Tonight they are doing their first presentation, sponsored presentation. It's gonna be exciting. We also have the Foundation for Santa Barbara High School. We're in the library here. We can check out the new furniture. Let me go back to PTSA real quick. You see there's learning and enrichment grants and school clubs. So actually this week, the first student UN meeting took place, which is all of the, it's the group that I bring together that is all of our club presidents and program leaders. Rebecca came, our PTSA president. Rebecca, what do you think about the students that showed up? Is there-
It's amazing.
It's like 45 students.
On a late start morning.
Late start morning, Monday morning at 8 a.m. They were all here. It's a great representation of our school. And PTSA with Rebecca was there because PTSA is basically providing grants to our clubs. And so they have there's a form that they can fill out. And what I started after, this being my 5th year, I noticed that so many clubs wasted, in quotes, their time fundraising to do something that they really want. So they're spending all their time as a club fundraising instead of doing what they really want to do because they're trying to fundraise for whatever they really want to do. And so like, for example, the good one was our green club. They want to do compostable utensils for our cafeteria. And our cafeteria, the head person said, well, let's pilot there, but it costs like $1,000. And so they were going to create all these fundraisers. I was like, no, like, let's figure out something else. And that's when the PTSA, we talked about it. So it's going to be great. It's a great gift to our students that PTSA is able to do with the donations that you give to them and or the Foundation for Santa Barbara High School also works with PTSA and provides, how much is it? $25,000 that supports the student clubs as well as the learning enrichment grants that teachers and support. So all of it goes together to a great spot. There's foundation funds. They're working towards a new capital campaign, which will be fixing up this library. So more to come on that. So I want to jump to the supports on campus. Last time I was with you all, you had asked for more information about mental health support on campus. So this slide shows you the different icons of what we're able to provide on campus. And you're like, wait, but hospice, it's also community. Yes. Hospice is here once a week, every week. And they work with our students and sometimes staff members on all things related to loss. And loss doesn't have to be death. It could be loss of anything, really. We have some students who get triggered by losing a pet, or maybe a friendship has fallen apart, or a friend has moved away, or maybe they've moved. And so loss can be many things. We have FSA, our Family Service Agency. They're here. We have, show you a slide in a second that shows their pictures. Both hospice and FSA it's mostly by referral through the counselor or through an administrator. They do drop in as well, especially if there's a crisis or there's like a moment of crisis. But know that goes through referral. We have our wellness center, which is an awesome place. And we have a full-time employee in there now. So it's open all day instead of just 2 hours during lunchtime or before and after lunch. It's been great for our students. We have this SOS is the suicide prevention program, Signs of Suicide. It happens in 9th and 12th grade. So some of you may have remembered that. It's you can opt out of it, but it's a presentation that's done by the counselors. It's coming up for ninth graders next month. We'll send out parent squares, especially I have some parents who want to know more about it. They want to watch the videos, but what it does is it's educational. It helps people understand the signs of suicide and so that they can help their friends. That's what it's all about. What are the warning signs? And then what do you do about it? Also, part of it is a screener, a mental health screener. And so students fill out a questionnaire that asks them questions about how they're feeling and anxiety, thoughts, suicidal thoughts possibly. So there are those questions. Again, we will communicate via Parent Square, all of that. So as a parent, you can, it's for just for ninth graders. Ninth graders did it last year. We just do it ninth graders and 12th graders. The ninth graders, parents can decide if they want their child to do that. When a student completes the screener, it goes directly to, it's on a Google form. So it goes directly to one of our FSA therapists as well as an administrator. And so they're watching to see if there's any red flags. So there's one of the questions say, do you need to speak to someone? Like now? Can it wait a couple, like tomorrow, in a couple of days, or I'm good? And so if they check a couple things, it will change color on the responses. And then there's an adult responding right away if necessary. We also bring in our crisis care team. There's the 2 crisis care specialists that work at the district level. Their names are Bonnie and Vicky. They're amazing. They're on call just in case as well. So I think last year there was less than 10 students that said, I need to talk to somebody. No one said I need to talk to someone right now. I think that was the first year that was true, but we're ready to support any of our youth that need it. Of course.
The SOS, did that happen to, was that presentation given? juniors?
Yeah.
Did that happen before?
Mhm. It was,
Miss Simmons, can you
Yes.
please repeat the comment because we cannot hear here? Yeah.
thank you. The question was, did the signs of suicide presentation happen during COVID when we were on remote? And I said, yes, it did. I could tell you it was a very different feeling, right? Anything that was done remotely and with teenagers, we were not sure if they were there or not, but it did happen. Yeah. We do it again, so we do it with freshmen and then we do it again with seniors. The seniors is slightly different, different information, but we're doing that as they head off to college, to career, to beyond. And so we do that for seniors as well. Sources of Strength is it's a club on campus. It's fairly new for us. It's district-wide. And the whole premise of Sources of Strength is to create campaigns and to help students find their sources of strength so that they're able to have those strategies to deal with anxiety, to deal with their own maybe resiliency strategies. And so it's to build those up. And so that's what Sources of Strength is. And then we have some Check and Connect. Those are some mentoring program. And this is the Youth Well. So this is all the stuff we have on campus. We'll talk some more about some other things. Here is our FSA therapist. I just want to show you who they are. Katie's our lead. She's the one on the right. Melissa's in the middle and Michelle is on the left. And you can see what they're able to do for us. They do small group individual check-ins. They support the Wellness Center. And you can see the different reasons that students may want to meet with them. So this is our team for this year. And again, you're thinking, well, how does my child, how are they able to talk to one of these wonderful therapists? And it goes through a referral process through the counselor and the admin. And what will end up happening is one of them, it takes about a week or two I would say 2 weeks. Let's lean on the 2 week side. They'll get called, students will get called in and they'll be screened, which is the fancy way of just saying, asking questions to see where they're at, what do they need. The referral also includes those things in there. So they're just trying to get a handle on what does the student need. Depending on those answers, it could be a referral out to a different service, or they remain on campus and do a series of therapeutic sessions with them up to 6 weeks. And if they need more than 6 weeks, there's that conversation that happens with parents. Also know that students over the age of 14 or over can request this on their own. They do not need a parent to do this. As you can imagine, sometimes the parent is the reason why they're requesting therapy in there, or they don't want to tell their mom or dad, or whatever the reason is, but they can do self-consent. So questions or thoughts about that, or anything? They each carry anywhere from 8 to 15. So they're not, we don't.
Miss Simmons, can you please repeat the question in Spanish? I'm sorry.
It's okay. The question was, what's the caseload? How many students do they serve at a time? So they serve anywhere from 8 to 15. Some of them are full-time. You can see their hours. You can see Michelle's part-time. So they serve anywhere from 8 to 15 at a time. And from my understanding right now, there is no wait list. They do a really good job of helping connect families and students to outside resources. Sometimes a student says, yes, I need to talk to someone, and they realize that through insurance, they can find something else that's out there that can be more consistent and long standing. So yeah, right now we don't have a wait list. We've had in the past. We're thinking, because this was a theory we were trying to test for this year, that because students have the wellness center, that they can go there, breathe, de-escalate, learn some strategies in there, that they are less likely to say, yes, I need to see a therapist. And, so we're doing other strategies to build resiliency and give and ways so that they're not jumping to, I need therapy. I need to talk, I'm in crisis. So that's what we're trying to work on as well. So we'll see if that theory is right. So far, it seems to be working pretty good with having the wellness center there. So this is the slide deck. It's going to be posted on our website. And what I'll figure out a way to get this into everybody's hands. I can actually email it to everybody who's here and on the participant list. This is a whole bunch of PDFs that has lots of information, both in English and in Spanish, and YouthWell has put this together. This is just, again, you click on any one of those hyperlinks. This is not a good example, but it's a good example of all the information. You can see crisis contacts, whole bunch of different resources here. This one's a good one. So you can see here helplines. So if ever something happens at home in the evening, on the weekend, during holiday breaks, this gives you access to that information. The national hotline for suicide is now 988. So again, you can see here all different sorts of resources. Make sure you know that that's there for you. So I'm just going to jump into some information. Any questions on mental health resources on campus or in our community? So just some quick information. If you have a senior and they have not taken their senior portrait, this is like, I don't know why this is so hard to get everybody. I mean, I know why. The company's hard, but this is the biggest thing we've had to do all year is figure out how to get every senior to get their portrait.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
Lots of information goes out. We had to pay for a sitting. So this then came out after the fact. So we paid for a sitting, but that is not for pictures, correct?
It is.
repeat
So
the
there-
question, please?
So the question is paying, so the company, so there's two different kinds of sittings. So it has to do senior portrait. You can say, I'm not paying for a sitting and I just want picture in the yearbook. Or I'm gonna pay for a sitting where you do get all the other photos as well.
So I think there was.
That was
confusion.
not
I think
clear.
This is why, is because you paid and they had packages, what they said it was,
Uh-huh.
like 3 changes of outfits, whatever. No pictures are included in that, and that was the only thing that came out before school started. So when we went, as a lot of other parents, is you went, you got your picture taken, but you get 0 pictures. And then you get to select, and the picture packets are between $150 and $500.
Yeah.
And you get nothing. You get not even one little thing. You don't get a digital image, nothing. And then this came out after the fact. You get a free picture for the yearbook, and that is free, and it's one outfit, which I think a lot of people would have done because I don't want any of these. A lot of people don't want. some of the
Yeah, no, I
pictures.
don't blame you. Yeah.
So anyways, it's. very
Good
confusing, but
feedback.
You get 0 pictures.
Well, good
Yeah,
feedback.
yeah, my
They charge
son.
you for, they charge $30. I got the basic sitting and it
Yeah.
was $30. That was like the cheapest one you could get up to like.
And then,
$60.
so the setting, so for those who are listening in Zoom land, I'm getting feedback about why it's probably really hard and the company. So $30 just to sit there and get your picture taken in 3 different outfits, but you actually don't get any pictures at all. You then have to pay an additional $150.
Almost to $500.
Ugh.
If you want the digital image, it's like 3 something.
And I
And then-
asked my son,
Wow.
you know, what I should, you know, what is that? And he goes, I don't know, maybe for the portrait,
Yeah.
but we have for free at school. And I said, okay, so now I don't know. So
Okay.
Yeah, and so now you have to like, out of the sittings, I think we got like 10 different pictures. And Charlie just has to pick one that's gonna go in the yearbook, but we get 0 copies of it, which is fine. But this came out after the fact. And we
Mm,
would have just.
Done
gone
this.
For the one free thing.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite company in the entire world.
It's super confusing.
Sorry about that. That helps me. So, oh, I better find a battery.
No, he doesn't have to do this. He now has to just go and click which one for the year, which is what we're gonna do, but. He had to change his outfit 3 times. Yeah, and it was like, you know. it was
It's
like-
really hard to hear, so. if you
Okay,
could,
I understand.
Summarize.
Just understand, yeah. So what they're talking about is basically just feedback on why, how senior portrait has gone. And I'm taking, and I have my little notepad in front of me. So I'm writing it down. We'll deal with it. Life Touch is probably hands down the most difficult company I've ever dealt with in my entire life. Like, it's even more than the DMV. Sorry if anybody works there. Or the government. Sorry if anybody, I work for the government, sort of, but. So I will, yes. And then it didn't help that there was a transition between Kaylee Villasenor and a brand new assistant principal. So that was also it was like a perfect storm of things that have made, and when I was saying, I don't know why this is so hard. I mean, like, know some of the reasons, but it's just been extraordinarily hard. And I apologize, you guys. And
No,
I was even here one day when they like were supposed to come and they didn't even show up. And I'm like standing in the hallway and there's this beautifully dressed young man. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And the mom's like, you know how hard it is to get him dressed? And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't have to tell you. They just canceled. They didn't call anyone. I know. I have to find a charger. I will do that in a second.
so that might be why you have a little bit of like-
Yeah, it's been hard. So here, we do have 2 more opportunities. They're just drop in. So just if your senior has not taken the photo for their yearbook and you want them, this is free. They just show up. It's in the cafeteria. I realize it's not on here that says that. It's next week, Thursday and Friday. Okay? The students also got this in their, this is from the student announcements, by the way.
So the due date for the picture, not to take the picture, but
Some,
it's on November.
Yes, to select the
To
photo.
select
you've
the-
already done.
okay.
I don't even know that, but now you thank you for telling. So for those of you who got the fancy sitting, those in Zoom land, that you have to select one of those fancy pictures by November. There's a due date, so just make sure you're doing that as well. Okay. Bell schedule adjustment. We've gotten feedback. I don't know how this happened. Could be the transition again, but there was one of our passing periods in the afternoon was only 5 minutes and not 7 minutes. Has to be 7, and was the one right after lunch, so no one really noticed because they have 40 minutes. So we have to legally change it to 7. It then had this ripple effect of where do we get those extra 2 minutes? So there's a slight bell schedule adjustment that's starting on Tuesday. This will go in my Monday memo that comes out. We'll put it on our website, but the start and the end time are exactly the same. It just, there's slight adjustments minute wise. I just wanted you to be aware of it. Sometimes I have parents who pick their child up for dismissal, like after the end of 3rd period. And I just want to make sure everybody knows there's going to be some small changes. So it's not the end of the world, I don't think, just, but there's minor. But if you're wondering why, it's because we had a passing period that was too long, too short. Okay. Also, there's no school on Monday for students, teachers. All teachers are at San Marcos that day. We're doing professional learning. And then next Friday is a minimum day. It's the end of the term. Those are the grades that go on the transcript. So if you haven't already, go home tonight or tomorrow and ask to see your child's Canvas and tell them to show you their current grade. And when they say to you, I've turned it in, Mom, but my teacher hasn't graded it, that's on you to decide if they're telling you the truth or not. You know them better than I do, but I will just tell you, that's what they will say. And they will not be honest all the time. So you know your child better than I do, but just know that's a common response. And I would say, maybe it's 50% right sometimes. So, but teachers are fiercely grading. Teachers have until, so this is the last day of the term. So most teachers will say this is the last day for you to turn in work, but teachers still have a few days more to do grading and to submit the final grade. So just know that so I would say you make sure all work, things get retaken, everything gets turned in by this Friday. And then Friday the 21st. And then know that they say, I turned it in, and you're like, okay, then teachers will grade it and put it into the final grade. Also know that if there's ever if you ever go, wait a second, you didn't turn it in, or we had technology failure and it's like, it's Sunday, you can always reach out to the teacher, and also teachers we can always do grade change forms. So it's not like it's just this thing that it's the end of the world and the world stops and we can't go back and revisit things, especially if you're feeling like maybe they were sick for a week and they didn't have enough time to do the work, or they weren't, whatever, something. Reach out to the counselor and just say, listen, I really am uncomfortable right now. I feel like my son didn't get the right information and they're far behind and he just could never recover. Reach out to the counselor. They can be your go-to person. You can reach out to the teacher. They'll help coordinate all of that. And there's always opportunity for a conversation, for improvement. Grade change forms happens all the time. So just know that there's that as well. But we rely on you to communicate that to us about what's happening.
Ms. Simmons, I have a question.
Yep. Go ahead.
I am new to the block system,
Mhm.
and so I'm trying to understand how these terms work. But we just received a report card.
I know.
Yeah, and I got a little bit confused by that. And then I want to make sure I understand the term ends in October. And that's the first block term. Is that correct?
Yes, so that's term 1. And
Okay,
so you'll get those official grades. They're always like a week and a half behind.
okay.
So I
So
don't
that
know.
was a midterm gut
Progress.
check.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a progress
Okay.
report. That's giving you like, hey, this is your progress report. Now, those that remember, try to go back like 10 years when we didn't have Neo or Canvas. And that would have been like your only way as a parent to
Yeah.
know what was going on.
Right.
Unless you had a teacher, like I always sent home like reports every week, especially with students if they weren't doing well. But yeah, so that was a progress report. It was just like, hey, this is what's happening right now, progress check. And then this one is the final. I would say Canvas is the one you want to, within the term, you want to pay most attention to. Canvas is the one that is most, that's live in quotes. Real time, maybe is a better way of saying it. And then at some point though, it stops and then they put the grades in onto the transcript. And that's what these ones are. That's on Friday, the 21st.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
So if,
And the second term starts then in November?
no, it starts that Monday.
Okay, and then that goes through the end of the year.
It goes until January 17th, I think. And
Oh.
then start again, we do term 3,
Okay,
and then there's term 4.
and do they have the same classes for the first 2 terms?
Generally. Now, there
Okay.
are a few there's a few term length courses like health,
Okay,
ethnic studies, social justice, finance
okay,
101. So there's a few, Math 105. And you'll see if you go into Aries, you can look on the schedule and you can see the new class. And we'll get-
right. I've seen that. I haven't fully immersed myself in the block system yet. So thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you explaining that.
Yeah, no worries. And I need to find the charging cord as I'm talking. I'm just gonna walk because my camera's off. Bear with me, everyone. Didn't realize my charging cord was, oh, there's one. Okay. I'm just moving. The people in the room know I'm moving. You guys don't. This is sort of fun. I'm gonna go over here for right now and then I'll move when Dino gets here. So you guys can still see up there, right? Okay, cool. Yay. Okay, just a couple, just to go back to, I want to acknowledge, Lisa, that the term stuff, just know that we are also, this is our 3rd year, but we are still also learning every day about things. And so just know, don't worry. Yes. Bell schedule for minimum days is the question. I don't think we have it posted yet. I'll get that out to you. I can share it with you this evening. I don't have it handy right now, but actually I do have it handy in a minute. I can show you. And then it will also be in my message that goes out on Monday. Okay, so just a couple upcoming parent nights. I talked to you about Cash for College tomorrow night. You can see that it's mostly for seniors. We have freshman family night that's happening at the end of this month on October 26th. We have parents together. Those are Tuesdays that happen in here. The next one is next Tuesday. There's 4 more. And then we have MLAC on Monday, as I shared. Important dates. I just want to make sure you all have these important dates. So 17th, there's no school. The 20th, we have the Great Shakeout during period 2. So that will be a drill, by the way. The Great Shakeout with all of California. They want us to practice if there's an earthquake. So we'll do a stay in the classroom, drop and cover drill. And then it's about 15 minutes long. That's on the 20th. Last day of the term, I talked to you about that. Just a couple other fun things. The 28th is our San Marcos home. It's San Marcos game. It's at San Marcos, the big football game. For those diehard Dons in the house. Of course, October 31st is Halloween and November 1st is Dia de los Muertos. We are planning some school-wide events for those things. So that's it. I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna go find the minimum day schedule for you all if you want to take a picture of that. And then this is gonna end the evening unless other people have questions, thoughts, anything you guys need.
I do have another question, Miss Simmons.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't see if other people are raising their hand.
That's okay.
But I was just recalling, when I was in high school, we had a lot of dances, after football games and a Halloween dance and that kind of stuff. And I've noticed that really isn't happening here at Santa Barbara High. And I wondered why that was and if that's something that the school is interested in pursuing, or just kind of a nice thing for kids to have something to do on a Friday night.
I'm trying to think. So we used to do a dance after, we haven't done it for a while. And I remember way back when we used to do a dance after a football game. What it requires is adults that want to do it. I'll just be honest. And the other thing that it requires is, it requires adults that want to do it.
Does
And
that
so,
include parents too, or?
oh yeah, we would definitely, because I can't imagine getting teachers who will come at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday night, because that's what
Right.
would be after a football game. And I
Yeah.
don't know how many parents would do that either. And that's a big, like, I'm even thinking about myself. I'm sorry. Those of you who know me, and I work, like, I'm a workaholic, but the thought of doing a dance at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. We did one time, we had to shut it down because it was so chaotic. And the kids at 10 o'clock, teenagers, get like 100 of them together. So
Yeah.
I think that's just my bummer way of saying, I don't know the level of people, like the energy and the feeling around that. But I definitely think if you and I want to connect, we can talk to John Keogh and the ASB students. They are on a different level this year of awesomeness. And so maybe they would want to do it. And maybe we could get a small group of families and parents, and we can hire security and things like that and figure it out. So let me know if you want to, I can connect you with them and we can brainstorm.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I totally understand the working
Yeah.
extra hours and all of that. And that's hard when it's that late.
Yeah. That's the hardest part, is that those dances start later.
Yeah.
We can talk more. I also want those of you who are here, Dino just showed up and he is okay with us doing this on Zoom as well. So if you want to stay, I am going to be the Zoom. I'm over here for those who just walked in the library. I'm over here awkwardly far away because I just need to charge my computer before it dies. But Dino said he's okay with Zoom. Dino, are you okay with me recording it or no? Yeah, I can record it too. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop recording now, the Sunset Chat, and I'll start a new one that will then, does anybody have any other questions, Sunset Chat, before I end that meeting and shift over to the PTSA's wonderful presentation of our guest speaker? Also, feel free to send me emails of what you want me to talk about. And next month, we'll do this again, and I'm going to do a sunrise in the morning. I didn't do it this morning because of the wonderful pre-ACT and PSAT day that we had scheduled. So we will be doing a sunrise in the morning, which is a morning one, which will be in person. So feel free to stay on. I'm going to stop recording now, but feel free to stay on so you can hear the next presentation. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And then Vivi and Anna, are you going to stay?